All right, here we are at the Gretsch booth at NAMM 2019 for Falcon and McQuade, and we're looking at the Players Edition Jet BT with this beautiful new finish, candy apple red, on this new guitar. So we launched the Players Edition Jets last year to great acclaim, and we continue in this year, and I can tell you a little bit about them. As with all our Players Edition guitars, we're looking at locking tuners, Graphtec Tusk XL nut, medium jumbo frets. We're looking at a control setup of a master volume with a treble bleed on it, the master tone, which is a no-load tone control, so when you turn it all the way up, there's a little indentation, and it bypasses the tone completely, so the pickups are going straight to the amp to drive that beautiful valve sweetness, and then you've got a volume control per pickup. And of course, the Jet BT means Broadtron pickups, so these have our Broadtron pickups in them. These are the professional collection Broadtron pickups, so we have a version of a Broadtron pickup on every range of guitars we do, and this one is the professional collection one, the BT65. Nice and high output, real good punch on them, and they amplify the key thing, which is, we call them solid bodies, but of course they're not, they're chambered. These traditionally, the Jets have, ever since they've been launched, have been chambered mahogany bodies. So you've got real expansive chambering within there, a lot of air moving about, which gives it that unique Gretsch sound. So they come through the pickups, and with the solid bodies, we've got with the solid colors, we've got rosewood fingerboard, and then we also have a flame top. So this is scarlet stain on the flame top, and with the flame tops we go ebony fingerboard. And of course they all have the Gretsch V-stop tailpiece, which hints back to our legacy of the Cadillac tailpiece with the Falcons and the Penguins back in the 50s. So with these guitars we're always looking to our legacy in the past, but also with a keen eye on the future with modern playability of these guitars. Studded bridge, lower neck angle means you can really dig in, and then the big block inlays and the script logo on the headstock are nods back to the original Jet from 1953. As I said, locking tuners. And the other really cool detail on these solid body Players Editions is the scaled down heel, and then we've rounded over the corner here, so you've got really comfortable access all the way up to the top fret. 22 frets on there, medium jumbo. Shallow locking strap locks, and yeah, just super cool guitar. This is a guitar that deserves a place in your collection. It complements every other guitar you've got. If you're in a band with another brand of guitar, this is going to complement it sonically. This is designed not to replace any other guitar, but to complement other guitars. This is it's got a tone of its own, and yet completely accessible and versatile for any style of music. Just a great, great guitar. That's the solid body models. I should mention, we couldn't resist. We threw a sparkle on the BT Jet as well, because why should the Filtertron players get all the fun? So the BT Jet now has this sparkle edition with the age binding, and for the sort of more modern look, we've gone with the black pickup surrounds and black pick guard, and with all those other Players Edition features that I spoke of. So just, we've got the flashy guitar, we've got the classy guitar, we've got the flamey top guitar, we've got something for everyone's tastes. So that's the Gretsch solid body models, and then in the same corner here we have the Gretsch center block models. 4 new models. We'll start with the Broadcasters. So we're looking at the Broadkaster Junior. The Junior models have been really popular because the smaller size of them, 14 inches across, makes them much more comfortable for players who are used to a solid body guitar to move into the world of semi-hollow guitars. So if you're used to a normal solid body guitar, sometimes the 16-inch body's a little bit too unwieldy, harder to manage. So the 14-inch guitar is going to be much more manageable and ergonomic for you to play. Still has the F-holes, obviously. It's a center block, so it has the spruce center block down the middle, which is chambered. And this one finished in a rather beautiful azure metallic with the gold hardware, the torty pick guard. And these pickups are the Gretsch USA-made Fultron pickups. So they have slightly more output and mid-range punch than the standard Filtertrons, but they're not quite as full frequency as the Broadtrons that I mentioned earlier on the solid bodies. Ebony fingerboard, and all those Players Edition features that I mentioned. So the locking tuners, and the Graphtec Tusk XL nut. This one has a Bixby, and any player's edition that has a Bixby, we have the string-through Bixby. So no worrying about those little pins. You just thread the string through, up it goes to the locking tuner, becomes the world's easiest guitar to restring. And again, with those electronics that I mentioned, treble bleed on the master volume, no load tone control, and then a volume per pickup. So you can set your sweet spot down here, set and forget, and then just tweak it with the master volume to crank the amp into overdrive. So really very, very cool guitar indeed. And we've also introduced on that model, the Broadkaster Junior, the bourbon stain over flame maple, which we already had on the full-size Broadcaster, and we already had on the solid body, and they proved to be an extremely popular color, so we brought it in on the Broadkaster Junior model too, with the nickel hardware. And look at that flame. Beautiful. And then finally in the center block range, so that's the Broadcasters, and then we also have in the center block range the center block Falcon and the center block Nashville. So last year we had the center block Falcon in white, classic white Falcon imagery. So we're complementing it with the black Falcon imagery. Because these are more giving a nod to classic Gretsch models, these have the classic Gretsch Filtertron pickups, but combined with all that other Player's Edition features that I mentioned. String-through Bixby, Graphtec nut, locking tuners, master volume with treble bleed, all of that stuff that I just said. But of course, this being a Falcon, has gold sparkle binding, has the oversized F-holes, and it has that famous Falcon headstock with the winged logo. And finally the Nashville. So the Nashville center block that we brought out before had gold hardware and heavily flamed maple. That look isn't for everyone, so we're keeping that model going for those people who love it. And then for those people who want something a little bit more low-key, we've gone with the plain maple and the nickel hardware. And this is a color we're calling Roundup Orange, so it's got a little bit more brown in it. It's a bit of a nod to the Roundup guitar of the mid-50s, with that sort of almost aged orange, I guess you'd call it, and the Torty pickguard with the famous signpost logo on it, and again the Gretsch Filtertron pickups, ebony board, and all of those other features, the Player's Edition features, locking tuners, shallow strap locks, the chambered spruce center block, the string-through B7 Bixby. Just a great player's guitar, but with that classic Gretsch looks and sound as well. And feedback beating if you have issues with that. So great for high gain situations. Yep, just a very cool guitar. So they are the new center block models here at NAMM. You saw the new solid body models here at NAMM. And that's what we got. NAMM 2019 for Long and McQuade. I'm Adam at Gretsch Guitars. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks for watching. To be notified of more videos from our trip to NAMM this year, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon. Leave a comment or question below, and check out our video playlist of all the latest and greatest products at NAMM.
Long and McQuade with the music.